Leadership, a $4 million decision. I want to welcome you to the Ultimate Brand Design Channel. My name is Charles Davis, the Marketing Maverick. At a point in my career, I was working for a corporation that was going through a rebrand. I was promoted into management, and I want to relate to you the stories that goes on behind the scenes that sometimes are not talked about. I was placed in charge of an application development group. It had 3 people in it. The minute that I was promoted to manager of that group, one of the people quit because they wouldn't work for an African American. See, these are the things that go untalked about. But I'll go on. It's about a $4 million decision. I was given the task to hire people until they told me to stop. We were going through a big redevelopment, retooling, re-implementation of technology for the whole corporation. And it's going to be internet and personal computer based. And they had no development team whatsoever. Because I had the skills in personal computers and mainframes, they put me in management. Because I'd asked for it. I'd asked for the opportunity. I felt that I deserved it. I went out and I hired 15 people before they told me to stop. I looked for African Americans, I looked for women. I ended up with 1 African American, well, 2 African Americans and 1 woman, and the other 12 were Caucasians. There was a project that was given to my group, and it had to do within the plant. Trucks have a wiring harness, and the guy that created the wiring harness for these custom designed trucks had been doing it all of his time at the plant, and he was about to retire, and they realized didn't nobody else know how to do it but him. He was so invaluable to the corporation that he used to get overtime, and he had to create harnesses in advance so he could take a 2-week vacation because nobody else knew how to do it. Okay? So they assigned it to my group, and I assigned it to a guy, I'm gonna call him Tony. He was working on the project, and my manager was working on a project plan, and he tried to go print it out, and he went to the departmental printer and he found some things printing out on the printer, and it just was taking up so much time he couldn't get it to stop, and he was late on his project. He looked at what was printed, and he found out it was stuff being printed by Tony. Now Tony had set up network with people in the corporation, and they were playing a computer game on their personal time, but they were sending him the instruction set for him to put into his home computer and come back to work and send them the results. My manager called me into his office, and he said, I want you to fire Tony. He then violated corporate policy about using company resources for personal use. He was right. I'm standing there in the office with my manager and the director. And then I told him this. Yeah, I'll fire Tony. But the minute I fire Tony, they're going to have to fire you. And I told him why. Corporate policy says that anything printed on that departmental printer, you are not to look at it and to see who it belongs to. Now, yes, Tony was wrong for printing that stuff out on the department printer, but you were wrong for looking at it and seeing who it was. So if I fire him, they're going to have to fire you. Now the director, he's standing right there, and he said, "You're right. If he fires Tony, I'm gonna fire you." So now we got this dilemma. So I said, okay, this is what we do. I'm gonna put him on a 90-day suspension. You know, we're gonna watch over him. As long as he doesn't do anything wrong, we'll push this aside. A few weeks later, he demoed the application for the plant that showed them how to create wiring harnesses. We had to pick our mouths off the floor. It was fabulous. Here it is. This was the early part of computers. He then made a graphical interface that shows people how to wire the harnesses, where the gauges go, how you hook up the wires to everything. When we implemented it, they noticed something. All the electrical failures on the trucks coming off the plant floor stopped. They had a line item on their balance sheet. They were spending $4 million a year debugging these wiring harness failures. That number dropped to zero. And that $4 million tracked all the way down back to the P&L statement on the corporate balance sheet. A $4 million decision. I had to stand on the integrity. I had to make a leadership decision to stand on my integrity between right and wrong. And here I am having to stand up and interpret the corporate policy and what's best for the company. That's leadership. I want to thank you for watching this video on the Ultimate Brand Design channel. I have a lot more videos coming about brand design. Click like and click share, and thank you for watching.